Okay, y'all ready for this? I'm gonna try and capture the part at which I challenge the agenda. Let's go.
Okay, well, my feeling is that if this is intended to be a discussion as to whether or
Let's go
not
back a little
people.
bit. Hold up. It jumped. It jumped. It jumped forward. It jumped forward. It jumped forward. It's so hard to cue these things up.
I said that as of November 4th, that's probably right on target. And that is my treasurer's report. As most of you know, the CDP does our treasurer's does our finances for us, for good and for ill. And so, if anyone is interested, we can certainly share that information with you. But we don't generate it; we basically just read it. As a officer of the Progressive Caucus, I want to share with you all two conversations that I had in the past month. So I know that we're going to go through and debrief about the special executive board meeting a little bit later, and I hope I'll be able to be back on and participatory in that. But I'm just going to share my thoughts now. I was saddened and disgusted and not surprised and also really disheartened. And I had conversations with caucus members, with family members, with friends about walking away from the party and necessarily away from the caucus, right? And then I had to switch gears because for my day job, I work as a faith-based advocate and I work on environmental issues. And one of the pleasures of my job is that I get to attend the Conference of Parties at the big UN climate change summit that this year was held in Glasgow, Scotland. And that is the world coming together trying to save.
Let me just say that this particular topic came up several times in the meeting tonight, which ran, I think, 4 hours long. And I kept pointing this out that you guys are trying to gaslight us. You intended to have this conversation the entire time and you dialed it back because I put pressure on you. Let's be real. But you kept dropping hints about it throughout the meeting tonight that we should leave the party, right? We should leave the party and give up all the work that we've been doing to actually reform the party. Give me a goddamn break.
The world from the world, right? And I had been there a couple of days and realized that the politicians are going to politician and that, you know, maybe the answer isn't going to come from the electeds, isn't going to come from royal heads of states, are not going to come from legislatures from around the world, but are going to come from us. And I had two really interesting conversations. I came downstairs in my hotel in Scotland and I start talking to a woman and come to find out she is the presiding bishop of the Church of Sweden. And I told her that I was from the United States. And she's like, oh, that's lovely. You know, what part of the United States? And I say, California. She said, oh, we're looking to California. Isn't California the place where they tried to get fossil fuel money out of politics? And I hadn't brought that up, but that was on her mind. Right. And when she heard United States, when she heard California, she thought of us. And a very similar story happened when I met Nadia Whittome, who is the youngest elected member of parliament from the United Kingdom. She's 25 years old. She's the UK's answer to AOC. And I told her I was from California. I did tell her that I would work with the Progressive Caucus. And she's like, oh my God. Do you know Ilhan? Do you know, she knew all of our heroes are her heroes. And she asked me to go blow by blow about what we did and what.
Take notice, Jimmy Dore and your fucking underlings. The Progressive Caucus still purports that they support the squad.
What we are doing to try to get the corrupt money out of our politics. I say all that to say that we are saddened and we deserve to be saddened. We deserve to be angry. We deserve to be, to feel all of our feelings. And also the world is watching us. So we can't give up now. We can't give up the fight. This is not the time to fall down on our jobs. Now is the time to take the strength from our brothers and sisters that are in this nation, that are in this world, looking to the United States, such as we are, looking to California, such as we are, looking to the California Democratic Party, my God, such as we are, and taking cues from us. And so I just want to let you know that I went halfway around the world to learn how.
My God. They're constantly dropping these Dem exit cues. Looking to the California Democratic Party. My God.
Proud of this group I am and will continue to be, and will continue to work on and make the changes that I wish to see in the world. And I can't think of a better crew to do it with. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Regina. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to see if I can get shared the agenda. Hopefully folks clicked on the link and saw it for yourselves, but let's see if I can share that agenda. Can you see that? Thumbs up if you can see that. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave that up there for a second, and I'll take, let's see if we can do this by acclamation without objection. So I'm going to, if you've all had a chance to look at it, it's already been shared in the chat. So I'm going to unshare it. And then, there we go. I'm just going to ask for.
By the way, earlier in this video, he had already anticipated that I was going to object to agenda item 8 and said that he welcomed debate and he welcomed, dissenting opinions and such. That's earlier in this. This is on their Facebook page if you want to watch the whole thing.
Anybody who has an objection to passing that agenda to just raise their hand. I'll see you on the participants list if you object to it. Otherwise, we're going to go forward with it acclaimed. I see one objection. Jenna Beck, I am going to recognize you to state your objection. Go ahead. Oh, unmute. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You've unmuted me. I have, first of all, Amr, the sound is really low. I just want to point that out.
Sorry.
Okay. But second of all, I don't know if we're trying to pass the entire agenda at this point, but I do have some questions around agenda item 8.
Oh, so this isn't to pass all the items on the agenda. This is just to affirm the agenda itself. And then we will go through the agenda items. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions or vote as appropriate.
Well, right. I don't think that, I would like to understand the purpose of agenda item 8 and understand where we're going with that, because I know that it's been redefined since the October 27th email, where it was more so a discussion as to whether progressives should be a part of CDP. And I'd like to understand more about that before I approve the agenda.
Yeah, sure. So we, have been through some trials recently with the party taking some pretty aggressive parliamentary and actions and contradicting its own bylaws. And it has become a party that no longer welcomes traditional consensus building and up or down votes. So we're going to have a discussion about that, about what that means and whether folks should adjust their participation in the party. My own personal opinion is that we should stay involved. But like Senator Nina Turner was saying, look at what you're involved in. If it doesn't help the movement, if it doesn't get stuff passed, then, reconsider. So all we're doing right now is not to agree with me or to agree on how people should adjust their participation, but just to agree that we're going to have that discussion.
Okay, well, my feeling is that if this is intended to be a discussion as to whether or not people leave the party, that it is inappropriate to be a part of a caucus that is a function of the party. That is my feeling.
Yeah, and we're going to ask you to voice that opinion at the time, but for right now, we're just asking folks to move forward.
Well,
but,
that's what I'm saying. I disagree with that item on the agenda.
All right. So since we have one objection, we're going to have a vote. I'm going to unpin you and mute you, Jenna. And since we do have one person who won't agree to the acclamation, why don't I do this? Right now, if you agree to this agenda, you vote to affirm the agenda, I'm going to need somebody to raise their hand and motion it. Then I'm going to need a second, and then we'll vote. So I see Emma Jensen and Bill Lauritsen. So let's see. Bill Lauritsen, you are motioning to affirm the agenda. So I'm going to ask you to unmute and just state that so I don't have it wrong.
Yes, I wish to motion that we affirm the agenda.
All right. And then I'll have Ji Young Carolyn Park. I'm going to ask you to unmute so that you can second that.
Second.
And Katie, I'm hoping that you, as the secretary, is recording this. With that, I am going to ask if anyone would like to discuss the motion. So everybody drop your hands. I'm going to see if I can do that myself. Drop your hands. Now raise your hand only if you would like to discuss this motion on one side or the other. And Jenna Beck, I'm going to give, looks like you have Jenna Beck, and then we have Zach, the only people that want to discuss it. So Jenna Beck, you have a minute to say your piece.
Okay, you'll have to time me. I'm just going to go. My feeling is this. The entire reason I got into politics is because Bernie Sanders called us to enter and reform the Democratic Party. That is why I'm here. The Progressive Caucus is a body of the CDP. It is a collection of people who agreed that they were going to enter the party and reform it. Any sort of discussion on the fact of taking this entire group of people outside of the party is completely against our purpose for being at this point. Now, I realize the Progressive Caucus actually formed much before that, but it still formed in the same vein of theology. It was the fact that we were going to take the largest organizing body available to us and use it to our advantage and lobby the people who have been working against us to try and move the needle. If we take all of these people who have been working so hard to try and move the needle and say, well, let's just throw up our hands, we're done, we're going to try and start a third party, that is not mathematically possible. That is not mathematically possible. All right, there you go.
All right. And I see we have a few more people that want to discuss this, but I see Emma Jensen has a point of order. So I will ask her to unmute.
Hi, yes, point of order. If anyone wishes the agenda to be amended, agendas are not a debatable motion. It's an up or down vote unless someone wants to strike an item from the agenda. If someone wishes to...
Okay, parliamentarian. So at this point, I was muted and I could not actually verbally make a motion. So I wrote my motion in the chat that I made a motion to remove agenda item 8. At this point, I was muted.
Move to strike an item from the agenda, you can move and then second and then proceed with that discussion, but the agenda in its entirety is not debatable as a motion itself.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for that. Here's the thing, is that I understand that we can push the rules and ensure that opposing voices are not heard, but I'm just not afraid of hearing opposing voices. So if somebody feels really strongly about the agenda and they want to be heard tonight, I'm going to let them be heard. So I see some other voices that, some other folks that have their hands up. So I am going to let them speak unless those folks would rather just get to the vote. So keep your hands up if you want to speak. Otherwise, we're going to move on to a vote as soon as we run out of speakers. So I see Lauren and asking you to do it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear you.
Hi, I'm speaking from here in San Diego from occupied Kumeyaay land, and I just wanted to point out that leaving the party is not even what the agenda item says. It says, and give me a second to pull it up so I can read it. How should progressives adjust their participation in the CDP? That could mean some people would leave it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it. And
Semantics. Give me a goddamn break.
to be honest, I hope that it means that most of us don't. We need to be in the party working to create the change from within. And as Senator Nina said, we've got to be critical about how we do that, evaluate what we do, think about what we're doing and how it impacts our time and our mental health and our physical well-being. But we're in here because we need to be the change from within. It's not about leaving the party. It's about how we can be most effective and most constructive in what we do end up doing. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you. So while I'm asking the next person, I'm going to ask Fatima. And while Fatima's getting ready, I got a few messages from folks appreciating that we are, even hearing objections to the agenda. And in that vein, I wanted to thank, some of the founders of the Progressive Caucus who are with us here.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, Amr. It's fucking hilarious that somebody might challenge your agenda.
Okay, Dr. Bill, David Sonneborn, I think Mike Toller's out there, Karen Bernal, and they've been, the planting the trees, that create the shade that we now enjoy. And if that shade...
Oh, the shade that we now enjoy, the shade of misogyny, the shade of smear campaigns, that's a fucking fantastic world that you've created.
And that comfort means that we listen to objections on our agenda. No, that's what we're going to do. It'll take a few minutes and we'll just power through that. So if you want to be heard on the agenda, keep your hand up. But if you'd like to just get to a vote.
Point of something to just clarification or something. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead, Minmo.
Literally, we're all here because we adjusted our participation in the CDP, so it doesn't mean to leave. She just gave a story that said, like, she got into it because Bernie said to adjust your participation in the CDP. So I don't know why that's a negative thing. All right, sorry. Is that whatever? Form that as a question. Bye.
Yeah, Manuel, that's all cool.
Manuel is such a fucking child. He attacked me in the chat tonight, and I have it all screen capped. Manuel, for fuck's sake. Oh my God.
That's not a point of order. One, Fatima's waiting. Fatima, go ahead.
Let's be civil, please.
Actually, Lauren took all the words out of my mouth. I was going to say the same thing. I just want the Democratic Party to work for all of us. And that's what I personally want. I think a lot of people are here for that reason. And so, yeah, I don't need to repeat what Lauren said. I just second all the words that she said. That's what I was.
At this point, I did not realize I was unmuted because they muted me. And so I was typing in the chat my motion because they muted me. And I had no clue they unmuted me. And so I didn't realize that I was popping up with everything I was saying.
Say as well.
All right, I'm going to take two more folks. We have, let's see, who still wants to talk about this? It is Constantine Anthony. Go ahead. Got a minute.
The agenda item in question is being framed as not appropriate. I feel it is completely appropriate for this discussion. Similar in the way that an agenda item for disbanding the caucus would also be an appropriate agenda item. There's nothing you can't put on the agenda, bar changing our allegiance to, say, the Republican Party caucus. I mean, there's very little that we can put on the agenda. It's how we vote, and it's how we discuss the item when it comes up, and what we put forth. If we vote on a resolution to go against the party, then that is out of order. But the agenda item as listed, it's completely within order, and we should have a robust discussion when it comes up during that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Last person to talk on this will be Rebecca.
I'm just asking to call the question.
Thank you. And let's do that. So I'm gonna remove that pin and mute, and let's see. Ask everybody to lower your hand, and then I'm gonna ask folks that are in favor of this motion to affirm the agenda as written without amendment to raise their hand now, please. So, Madam Secretary, on this, I'm going to wait for that to stabilize. On this motion, the yays, who are either putting their hands up, doing a green check, doing a clap. All right. So I'm gonna call it stabilized in about 10 seconds. So the yays are 78 hands up, 5 green check marks. So let's call that 84 out of our 171. And then if you all could put your hands down.
Put your hands down, bitches.
Okay. Okay. So basically, they muted me and then they unmuted me. I don't know why. I don't know if it was purposeful. I don't know if they were trying to humiliate me with my reactions to their bullshit. I have no idea why that happened. But yeah, you got my live reactions on that live stream. I don't know what to tell you other than y'all are fucking fools. Watch that pack. You are Dem exit right now. You're fucking Dem exit. That was some crazy crap. And then Manuel went into the chat. I've got that all screen capped too, where he's like, I'm just waiting for Jenna to call us bitches again. And I told him, hey, I can call you later and call you a bitch. Is that what you want? And he kept going with me. He kept going on. And I said, Manuel, you are a member of the board. Do you really feel like that you're engaging with me appropriately right now? I mean, I don't even know what to say about this caucus leadership. They're really bad. The fact that first of all, aren't we all against the Patriot Act? Aren't we against that? You should not be unmuting me and capturing my live commentary where I'm yelling at the screen, okay? Where I'm like, oh my God, you're so fucked up for what you're doing right now. You should not be capturing that from me. But you did capture it. And then you had a bunch of faux aggressives acting like they were clutching their pearls and they're so scared by it. But they had no fucking problem with Manuel's profanity. They had no problem with Igor. Igor is a wonderful person, by the way. But he dropped an F-bomb too. Give me a goddamn break. You guys are clutching your pearls over things that you're just like, whoa, shit, she can't say that Dem Exit is bad. Are you kidding me? You are a body of the CDP. You are a organization within the CDP. If you want to be outside of the party, go the fuck outside of the party. But don't take over a portion of the party and try and say, well, we're going to take this away from you. That's some bullshit right there. I'm so shocked by the way you handle your meetings. And why the hell do you have that airhead running as parliamentarian? She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's the parliamentarian. She should be saying that this is right and this is wrong. And she's not doing a damn thing because she doesn't know how to do it. God damn you guys.